Welcome to Blood in the Snow Radio, where we give you the latest news and interviews with the best in Canadian genre cinema. Here are your hosts, Robert Bellamy and Festival Director Kelly Michael Stewart.
Welcome back to Bits Radio. I have the privilege of sitting here with this gentleman. If I can introduce yourself, please.
My name is Jono Hunter.
Excellent. And you are a filmmaker here because you have a project in the film.
I do. The project is called The Silence of the Library. It's part of a bigger series called Night Drives. It's like a short form sketch comedy animation.
Excellent. Let's talk more about that because that one really intrigued me, and I just found out the history behind the animation style. Because usually when you watch animation, it's got animation, like movements, but this looks so real.
Yeah, so everything is shot in live action, and it's painstakingly traced, and eyeballs are painted, and teeth are painted, pretty much frame by frame. There's a couple shortcuts for the broad strokes work, but I really feel like eyes and teeth are important for this uncanny feel that everything has. So there is a lot of frame by frame work going on. But then, yeah, it sort of adds that uncanny flair to a really quiet, subtle, cringy kind of comedic spot. So even tiny shoulder movements show up, and like the nuance of the actors in real life really comes through and makes you feel, I don't know what kind of feelings, but some kind of feelings.
Yeah. Well, and this wasn't what your style normally was.
No, because I'm mostly working in live action. I met my co-creator. I was directing TV commercials, and I'd just come off the back of my first feature, moved to LA right before the pandemic, and met my co-writer, co-creator at UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade. We were doing improv classes together, and we started writing sketches to shoot them in live action, and then the world completely imploded. We were sent back to our original towns. I went back to Toronto, and he went back to Pittsburgh. But we discovered that this roto process, we could shoot some of these sketches over Zoom, like simplified versions of them, and then draw over basically every frame and create something really high quality out of just garbled pixels. And then we did about 10 episodes of that and just kind of self-released, just put them out there. And then like 2 years ago, came back to Toronto and started shooting like a second season in live action with like 4K cameras and access to all my super talented actor friends in Toronto. People came out to support and do their thing. And yeah, this is sort of that iteration going out into the world now, taking it more seriously, doing festivals and yeah.
Well, and imagine working in commercials. You get to learn all these little shortcuts and tap into the talent that's just starting.
For sure. A lot of the people that are in it, I met on commercial sets, 10 years ago, and just kept in touch and developed good relationships, so they were able to come out and do their thing.
Doing these new seasons, do you ever have that urge to go back to the animation?
Oh, all the time. Like, I'm sitting, like, the festival run has been amazing, but like I can only see the things I wish I had spent more time on. But there is that balance of like there is a nice kind of handmade feel to it. So if it's too polished, it might lose a bit of its charm. That may be cognitive dissonance. I don't know, but I do want to go back in. I'm like, oh, that mask is a little bit too short. I can see the layer underneath or whatever, but you got to walk away at some point. Or
I think you're right. Animation is imperfect.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have perfect animation, it's CGI or it's film.
Yeah.
So
it's nice to feel the hand behind it, so to speak.
Exactly. Now, you had mentioned you had done your feature recently.
Yeah.
What was that feature?
So that feature was done. It was released in 2017 at the Canadian Film Festival here in Toronto. It won Best First Feature. And it's basically one of my oldest friends in film school collaborators, Dave Grimes, and I were trying to shop a movie around, which was, I won't get into the details, but it was like basically the saddest movie of all time, like a black and white kind of Lynchian, really weird movie. And producers were like, why the heck would you, like, who wants to see this? And we're like, we do. But we'd go to bars and like lament with our friends and talk about the bad meetings and realize that those stories were far more interesting and like sort of engaging than this super black, like sad black and white story that we wanted to tell. So we kind of rewrapped it and made the movie about two sort of naive, young, specifically Canadian filmmakers trying to make a film that no one would want to watch in this landscape, and then sort of bulldozing through it, much to their demise.
That is interesting. I love.
And it's
this.
called Modern Classic. I don't know if I said that.
Modern Classic.
Modern Classic. Yeah,
I
it's
love
an ironic
how
title.
That script morphed because of your experience.
Yeah, it's cool because we were pretty broken about not getting the sort of feedback that we wanted from the original idea, but to be able to apply life experience, make it way more relatable, and then still shoot pieces of it. Like we got to shoot clips that we played within the feature of the original movie. So it really couldn't have turned out better. So that rejection fueled the inevitable or the eventual success of the movie.
That's cool. And it's interesting too that it's a total genre change from your sketch comedy to trying to write this uber dark black and white film.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And coming from commercials, like, you are supposed to be in a box. Like, clients and agencies really want to see, oh, this guy's the car guy, or this guy's the kooky comedy guy, or the hamburger guy. But, like, I never saw myself in a box. I'm just like, I want to try everything. I want to do whatever I can do. So, like, from weird, dark, broody stuff, and then that's an extension of my personal projects too, like the dark, broody thing into sort of a more like Jim Jarmusch style kind of weird, jilted comedy. It was a weird mash together, but yeah, it was cool to kind of.
And is there an urge to break from the commercial aspect? Because I know friends of mine, they're heavy into like children's programming. They produce some of the darkest comedy puppet movies I've ever seen.
For sure. Yeah.
Is that kind of what's in play?
Definitely. I think the sort of accessible nature of commercials, like it scratches that itch for me. And then when I do my personal stuff, I really want to like try new stuff, for better or for worse. Like, but yeah, it definitely informs that.
Excellent. And what we touched on it briefly when the microphone wasn't on, but what made you get into that commercial side of it?
Well, I started like out of film school, thought that my thesis film was going to go to Sundance and win me all the awards, and I would just launch my career there. But I am thankfully learned the hard way that you gotta cut your teeth, you gotta put the work in. So I PA'd on commercial sets for 5 or 6 years, and got to the point where I was on a stable crew. I was picking the gear up and returning the gear, and sometimes the gear would be laying around over the weekend, and I would just borrow the camera and shoot little spec spots based on what I learned from other directors, showed people, got mentored, and just sort of crawled my way from the back of the truck to the front of the house.
And the more I think about it, commercial is like the perfect place to be.
It's amazing, yeah.
For speed, for talent, for equipment. You know, like
you still get to play, right? Even if you're doing like, just basic stuff, you're still working at a high level. You're still going through the process every time. It's new. There's new puzzles. I literally learn something new every single time I'm on set. So that's all just going in the pocket and going into that sort of pile of experience.
I think it's the change that's the cool thing, because every commercial is a little different. Whereas friends of mine, they work Christmas movies to pay for their passion projects. It's like, if I see snow one more time. But commercials, you're always having a different product, a different style, a different everything.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And it just, it helps with the versatility, and it helps inform personal stuff as well,
Excellent. Has that ever seeped into your projects?
The commercial stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, going back to the movie, like some of the lines in Modern Classic are like verbatim conversations I've had with ad people, because that was my way in to try and sell it first. Like that was the first sort of wave of pitching, is going through ad people, because a lot of production companies want to break into longer formats, so they're keen to like support that and put their logo on it and whatnot. So, and when we wanted to make this dark, brooding black and white movie, they weren't biting on that. But then those conversations informed the actual movie, and brought it forward there.
Excellent. So anything you're working on, hopefully in the very near future?
Well, Night Drives is continuing its festival run. The first half of the de facto season 2 is done, and there's still a bunch of stuff shot that I have to animate. I have to find the time for it. I have a project, another animated project called Late Time with Banzo and Blair. We're developing that. It's with Vance Banzo and Tim Blair of Tall Boys fame, and it's just like a super kooky airplane-style animation show about
beautiful,
a late-night TV show, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with airplane-style humor.
Oh, no, I love the slapstick, yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you.
And if you ever want to hop back on, let me know.
Awesome.
I'll be back.
Amazing. Great. Have a great day.
Join us next time for Blood in the Snow Radio. Bits Radio is a production of Three Evil Cats Productions in association with the Blood in the Snow Canadian Film Festival. For more information and to listen to other episodes, visit bloodinthesnow.ca and tweet us at BitsFilmFest. Music by Jen Gorman, produced and edited by Kelly Michael Stewart.